Aloha and welcome to Maui Manao. I'm your host, Alan Teixeira, and we'll be discussing Maui issues with our guests, Maui State Senator, Senator Kalani English, Senator Ross Baker, and Senator Shan Tsutsui. Thank you, Senators, for joining us today. First off, our first question, the 2010 session has been described as a financially difficult session. What steps has the Senate taken to cope with this shortfall?
Well, we've done a lot. I think that the first thing that we need to understand is that the senators of all of us have taken a 5% pay cut, and that's reflective across the board with most of the civil servants and most of our staff as well. And we've shortened the session. We've taken out the recess days, so we're about a week shorter. And we didn't do an opening day ceremony. All of this adds up to pretty substantial savings.
Well, we also had the allotment that we're given to have session staff has been decreased. So I'm fortunate. I have a couple of interns in my office from the University of Hawaii that are really helping with my committee load.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty consistent. We're all trying to do more with less. So, trying to each do our own part in terms of helping the state kind of recover and save as much of the state dollars as possible.
So, if in real numbers, we've cut about $578,000 in payroll within the legislature by doing efficiencies, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
That's a lot. With the state's current financial situation, what are some of the non-fiscal bills that are gaining attention?
Practically everything in my committee. The Committee on Commerce and Consumer Protection is noted for doing things that don't have any kind of fiscal impact, or at least no general fund impact. So we're looking at improving foreclosure laws, all kinds of things to protect the consumer from gift certificates to unlicensed contracting, and all of those sorts of measures that really, in these difficult times when people might try to be scamming or taking advantage of a situation, we have some measures in place. Pre-need funeral plans. It just runs the gamut of activities, so that's the focus of my committee.
And of course, I've been working with Ways and Means over the summer and through the fall, so I don't know what a non-fiscal bill is, but obviously I think those are the bills that might actually have a chance of passing this year because, there's not additional funds for additional programs or services. I mean, I think the focus this year is just to try to maintain the current level of programs and services that we currently provide, as well as trying to deal with some of the issues like furlough Fridays and so forth.
Well, and in times like this, we have to introduce measures that ordinarily would not get much attention, but let me just highlight two. One is transferring the jurisdiction of Kalaupapa or Kalavao County from the Department of Health to Department of Hawaiian Homelands when the last of the patients passed there. And this is a forward-looking bill because we have to provide for the governance of Kalavao County, and the Department of Health will really no longer have an interest in running it once it's once we lose the last of the residents there. So we have a bill to do that. A little bit more controversial one is the decriminalization of up to 1 ounce of marijuana. And I want to stress that it's not legalization, it's decriminalization, which means that it's still against the law, it still remains on the controlled substance list, but it's handled in a different court. And it's civil proceedings instead of a criminal one. So you still go to court, the police will still arrest you, it's still illegal. We're just saying that maybe it's time to look at it as a civil matter as opposed to a criminal one for up to 1 ounce. And the bill is currently in the Judiciary Committee.
That's very interesting, very interesting.
Well, it's generated a lot of comments.
Yes.
Yes, it has.
Can we talk about something else? The Senate is modernizing its communication capabilities. How could Maui residents benefit from these new initiatives?
Well, over the last couple of years, we've done a lot of initiatives in the Senate, our paperless initiative, to really make sure that all of our testimony, all of our hearings is online. So people can follow it, they can communicate, get their information and their position on a variety of issues, they can track what bills are, and really be much more engaged in the process. And this year, I'm one of 3 committees that is twittering about what our agenda is, where we are in the agenda, so people can really follow us. And, you know, because a lot of times, at least people in the Capitol have to be in 2 or 3 or 4 different places at once. And this way, they can know where their bill is and make the most efficient use of their time. But it also, I think, helps people that are away from the Capitol have a sense of what's happening around here. And so we're trying to use that mechanism as well.
And we also, you know, the Senate has a wonderful initiative called the Senate Paperless Initiative, which I think it reduced our consumption by almost 9 million pieces of paper. And that is a lot of paper. So what we've done is we've said, okay, we're not going to print everything on paper. We're going to move it to an electronic format. And what that did as a consequence is made information almost instantaneously accessible. So the same time that we get access, the senators get access to testimony, the public gets access to it at the same time. And this measure has saved us money. It's reduced our consumption of paper. It made the Senate more green, and it's also brought us into the digital age. Senator Baker's committee is twittering. I tweet from the floor. I guess the action is tweet, right?
Yes.
I tweet from the Senate floor and from different committees. But we're also looking at Facebook, and we're looking at YouTube. We're looking at other social media to get the word out and have people connect with us electronically. The portal is www.hawaii.capitol.gov, and if you go there, everything is there. Testimony, hearing notices, committee reports, everything that we used to work with in the legislature. The general public has the same access to it.
So it really makes the process much more transparent, and it's much more inviting. In the old days, it was very difficult for folks from the neighbor islands to be able to interact with the legislature. And now, you know, we readily accept testimony by email. You can get responses back by email, and it's just a lot more user-friendly, I think. So we really invite all of our constituents to take advantage. All you need is an internet account and a computer, and a lot of times you can go and find that at the library or other places around. So we're really trying to bring democracy to all corners of the state of Hawaii.
Very interesting. You gotta love technology. Love technology.
And you know, the other thing that it's done, I think for us, it's made us really aware of the portable devices. I mean, the cell phones, the smart pads, the smartphones, all of these things, because we now have to be connected, and it makes it, you know, I mean, we can be sitting there and get instant feedback from people on what they think and what's going on. So, and we often do. And so it's really created a stronger foundation for democracy.
So it's really allowed us to be in more than one place at one time. You know, so sometimes you're sitting in a committee hearing and you're getting updates as to what's happening in other committees, or if you're tracking certain bills that maybe weren't in the committees that you sit on. At least my staff is able to communicate with me some of the things that might be going on in Senator English's committee or in Senator Baker's committee. So, you know, it's tremendously helped us in terms of dealing with not only the barrier of us being on Oahu and trying to deal with our constituency back home, but you know, we can, in a very timely manner, communicate with one another as well too.
And I think we're also looking for more ways that we can stream actual hearings so people can, you know, not just follow it from a paper perspective in terms of looking at the testimony online, but also from actually being able to see and interact remotely.
And the other thing that we did was, you know, before they would tape the hearings and then send them to Maui. Now it's instantaneous feeds, so they're watching live.
Stream it.
It's streamed over to the neighbor islands. So we've made it real time.